Did Mike Wolfe really walk away from American Pickers for good? While he insists he's merely taking a break, many fans suspect there's more to the story. Could his shocking decision be about money, a hidden scandal, or something even darker? Today, we're diving deep into the possible reasons behind his departure, and the truth might change how you see the show forever. Mike Wolfe has worked as a professional picker for nearly 40 years, traveling across the United States in search of rare antiques, or what he fondly calls rusty gold. He buys these treasures and sells them at his two antique archaeology stores, one located in LeClaire, Iowa, and the other in Nashville, Tennessee. These shops also sell branded merchandise, with prices ranging from as little as $18 to as much as $900. Some reviewers have criticized the stores for what they believe are excessively high prices, like a vintage cat food sign listed at $900. Still, others appreciate the unique finds available, even if they, too, admit the pricing can be steep. Despite the mixed reviews, both stores have been thriving. As of 2023, one of them reportedly generated $93,000 in annual sales and has maintained a solid credit score, paying its debts on time. But Mike's success doesn't stop there. American Pickers has been a massive source of income and fame for him, though the show almost never existed. Even though his fascination with picking started when he was just 4 years old, Mike didn't begin his career in antiques. Born in Joliet, Illinois, and raised by a single mother as the second of 3 children, Mike spent his early years fixing up old bicycles salvaged from neighbors' trash. This hobby led him into competitive bicycle racing and eventually to opening 2 bike shops. But something still felt missing. Ultimately, the thrill of picking and the adventure it brought pulled him back. He returned to the road, traveling up to 60,000 miles a year in his cargo van, seeking vintage treasures. Eventually, Mike had a vision, a TV show that would showcase his finds and the fascinating people he met along the way. Although he was initially turned down by several studios, he kept pitching his idea until the History Channel said yes. In 2010, American Pickers debuted, and the response was phenomenal. The first episode alone drew 3.1 million viewers, making it the highest-rated debut for a History Channel show between 2007 and 2010. By the end of its first season, American Pickers was pulling in an average of 5.44 million viewers each week, particularly within the 25 to 44 age range. Alongside his loyal partner Frank Fritz and close friend Danielle Colby, who had worked with Mike at Antique Archaeology long before the show, the trio's chemistry became a vital part of the show's success. It quickly became the highest-rated new non-fiction series on cable TV in 2010, catapulting Mike from a relatively anonymous life to national stardom. Thanks to the show's loyal following, Mike earned approximately $500,000 per season and around $25,000 per episode. With 26 seasons and 389 episodes under his belt, his earnings have been substantial. He's reinvested much of that wealth into his businesses, including his 2 stores and 13 properties, and launched a restoration business that breathes new life into vintage lighting and fixtures by transforming them into custom furniture pieces for homes and offices. In addition to his work on American Pickers, Mike Wolfe has also authored books that contributed to his income. He released American Pickers' Guide to Picking in 2011 and Kid Pickers in 2013, the latter published by Macmillan. Despite these ventures bringing in revenue, Mike suffered a major financial loss, about $6 million. This has led some to speculate whether money troubles are the real reason he's stepping back from the show. However, Mike's interests and efforts go beyond personal profit. He also created Kid Pickers, an online platform for children aged 7 to 13 to share their own picks. In addition, Mike frequently supports charitable causes, hosting events and fundraising for organizations like St. Jude Children's Hospital, Operation Smile, the ASPCA, and various animal shelters. To many, he's seen as a generous and admirable figure, someone who puts others first. However, not all of Mike's relationships have had happy endings. On September 7, 2012, he married Jodie Faith, and the couple welcomed their daughter, Charlie, a year later. Sadly, their marriage ended after 8 years when they separated in June 2020. In 2021, Jodie filed for divorce, and as part of the settlement, Mike was ordered to pay over $6 million. While this financial blow was significant, it's not believed to be the main reason behind his break from the show. In fact, it was another, more personal fallout that may have truly impacted his decision. Mike has been the face of American Pickers for 26 seasons, spanning roughly 15 years. Until 2020, he co-hosted the show alongside Frank Fritz, his longtime friend and partner. Traveling across the country in their Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van or Ford Transit, the duo charmed audiences with their differing interests. Mike gravitated toward antique motorcycles, old bicycles, air-cooled Volkswagens, and penny farthings, while Frank favored vintage toys, oil cans, old Hondas, and peanut-related memorabilia. Together, they scoured barns, garages, sheds, and private collections across America, buying and reselling their finds, Mike through his stores, and Frank through his own shop, Frank Fritz Finds, in Savannah, Illinois. Their chemistry was undeniable, and although Mike was always the star, Frank accepted his role, even doing much of the physical lifting during their hunts. Sadly, that dynamic ended for good. In July 2022, Frank suffered a severe stroke that left him hospitalized. Mike publicly asked fans to pray for his recovery and expressed his support at the time. Unfortunately, Frank passed away on October 1, 2024, due to complications related to the stroke. Mike shared a heartfelt eulogy, reminiscing about their shared adventures and describing Frank as a genuine person whose on-screen persona matched who he was in real life. He expressed pride in having shared the spotlight with him and admitted that Frank would be deeply missed. Despite Mike's emotional tribute, many fans questioned its sincerity. What raised eyebrows even more was the timing. Mike didn't announce his decision to take a break from the show until 6 months after Frank's passing. If he truly missed Frank, why did he replace him with his younger brother, Rob Wolfe? And why wait so long to step away? The answers might lie further back, in the events surrounding Frank's departure. Before his stroke, Frank had been suffering from chronic back pain and underwent surgery. He had filmed a few episodes prior to the operation, but once those aired, he vanished from the show in March 2020. At the time, Mike stated that Frank was recovering. But as the months dragged on without any updates, fans grew concerned and demanded answers. In 2021, Mike finally confirmed that Frank would not return, but Frank's side of the story told a very different tale. Frank revealed that he hadn't left voluntarily, he was pushed out. He alleged that Mike played a direct role in the network's decision not to bring him back. Despite knowing about Frank's health issues and surgery, Mike never reached out. Frank even claimed they hadn't spoken for 2 years. Though he didn't go into detail, Frank implied that Mike may have felt threatened by his rising popularity. Despite the show putting Mike front and center, Frank said, "It seemed like Mike had a problem with me. When I lost weight, it looked like I was coming for his #1 spot." These revelations hinted at deep-seated tensions behind the scenes, tensions that may have led to Frank's removal, and ultimately, to the unraveling of their friendship. Whether Mike's break is a response to grief, guilt, or personal burnout remains unclear. But one thing is certain, behind the charm of American Pickers lies a more complicated story, one of friendship, ambition, and painful fallout. When Mike Wolfe was asked in 2021 about Frank Fritz's claims regarding their fallout, he gave a vague response, stating that he preferred to keep the details of their friendship private and chose instead to focus on praying for Frank's recovery. His answer avoided directly addressing the situation, which left many fans believing that Mike may have played a role in Frank's departure from American Pickers. Despite the speculation, the show's ratings remained steady. Fans continued to watch, even as the show's dynamic shifted. Now, Danielle Colby, Rob Wolfe, and antiques expert Jersey John SLE often join Mike on his picking adventures, and sometimes they even venture out on their own while Mike takes a step back. Interestingly, this collaborative and more flexible approach wasn't something you'd expect from someone accused of wanting the spotlight all to himself. It brought a fresh energy to the series, and viewers still enjoyed seeing what Mike would uncover, whether revisiting familiar territories or exploring new ones. By 2023, however, it became apparent that Mike truly missed Frank's presence on the show. Following Frank's stroke, Mike did visit him during recovery, and there was even a possibility of Frank returning to American Pickers. Sadly, his health prevented that from happening, and fans never got the reunion they had hoped for. But if Frank's passing isn't the reason Mike is taking a break, then what is? Some fans speculate that Mike may be stepping away to focus on his personal life. After separating from his wife Jodie in 2020 and finalizing their divorce in 2021, Mike moved on and went public with his new relationship with Letitia Klein in August of that same year. The two have maintained a strong relationship, albeit a non-traditional one. They don't live together and prefer keeping some independence. Letitia, who owns and operates the successful Ace Coffee Cafe in Cave City, Kentucky, lives about 2 hours away from Mike, who resides in Leapers Fork, Tennessee. Despite the distance, they spend plenty of time together, traveling and even working on projects, like their joint advertisement for Harley-Davidson. Interestingly, Letitia has never appeared on American Pickers, suggesting that while they enjoy collaborating, they also value keeping parts of their lives separate. When asked on the red carpet of their film Day of Reckoning whether an engagement was on the horizon, both Mike and Letitia were quick to say no. They expressed contentment with their current setup and said they're enjoying their relationship as it is. So, if love isn't pulling Mike away from the show, what is? The real reason behind Mike's break from American Pickers lies in a new and exciting chapter in his career. After 15 successful years with the show, and over 30 years as a professional picker, Mike is ready for a fresh challenge. He's gearing up to launch a new series titled History's Greatest Picks with Mike Wolfe, which has already been greenlit by the History Channel. This show will follow Mike as he seeks out legendary treasures, rare artifacts, and unique collectibles, diving into the historical context and value of each piece. Rather than simply buying and reselling items, Mike will act as a guide, bringing history to life for viewers by telling the stories behind these incredible finds. It's a concept similar to American Pickers, but on a broader, more global scale, and possibly even involving international travel. The inspiration to branch out came when Mike's close friend, director Sean Silver, approached him about playing a role in the movie Day of Reckoning, which included a motorcycle scene. Initially hesitant to step into acting, Mike was unsure whether he could pull it off, despite his years of on-camera experience and adventurous spirit. But with encouragement from co-star Billy Zane, who even gave him a few acting tips, Mike embraced the challenge and found the experience exhilarating. This taste of something new sparked a desire in Mike to explore different opportunities, including those in Hollywood. Though he's not putting all his eggs in the acting basket, Mike is open to pursuing whatever feels fresh and exciting. After years of traveling, negotiating, and lifting dusty treasures out of barns and sheds, Mike is simply looking for a breath of fresh air. And really, who could blame him? The question now is, what lies ahead for Mike Wolfe? And what will fans discover with him on this new journey? If Mike ultimately decides not to return to the show he helped build over the years, it could mark the end of an era for American Pickers. His departure would raise questions about the future of the show and the fate of his co-stars. Would they continue without him, or would they pursue their own separate ventures? While it's exciting that Mike has discovered new passions and opportunities, fans should be prepared for the possibility that their favorite picker may be ready to close this chapter of his life for good. Perhaps, after decades on the road and countless treasures uncovered, Mike Wolfe has made his final pick.